A man was on his way home from a party when he was pulled over by a police officer. As the officer approached the vehicle, he noticed a large number of knives in the back seat. Looking at the driver, he asked,
"Sir, do you have a good reason for needing all those large knives?"
Smiling, the driver said,
"Why, yes, I juggle them."
Realizing the officer was giving him a skeptical look, the driver said,
"Officer, with your permission, I'd be more than glad to give you a demonstration."
Cautiously, the officer stepped back and said,
"All right, but you'd better be telling the truth."
Soon, the man was on the side of the road, tossing the knives high into the air with ease. Two old men happened to drive by, and both gazed in astonishment. One of the men looked at the other and said,
"Sure am glad I gave up drinking. These sobriety tests are getting ridiculous."
For decades, two heroic statues, one male and one female, faced each other in a city park. Until one day, an angel came down from heaven.
"You've been such exemplary statues," he announced to them, "that I'm going to give you a special gift. I'm going to bring you both to life for 30 minutes, in which you can do anything you want." And with the clap of his hands, the angel brought the statues to life. The two handsome figures approached each other, a bit shyly, but soon dashed for the bushes, from where shortly there could be heard a good deal of giggling, laughter, and shaking of branches. 15 minutes later, the two statues emerged from the bushes with wide grins on their faces. "You still have 15 more minutes,"
said the angel, winking at them. Grinning even more widely, the female statue turned to the male statue and said,
"Great! Only this time, you hold the pigeon down and I'll do my business on its head."
A man walks into a bar with a 10-foot-tall giraffe. The man orders a beer for both himself and the giraffe. The bartender thinks this is a bit peculiar, but serves them the two beers anyway. After the man and the giraffe finish their beers, they order more. Then they order even more beers. And even more. Despite the strange stares from the other bar patrons, they proceed to drink themselves silly. After about a dozen or so beers, the giraffe stands up, wobbles, then passes out on the floor. At this, the man stands up as well, settles his bar bill, and begins to walk out of the bar. The bartender shouts,
"Hey, you idiot! You can't leave that lying here!"
The man stops, turns around, and replies, "Idiot? You're the idiot. That's a giraffe." Two guys are walking through the woods one day when they stumble across a big, deep hole. The first guy peers into it and says,
"Wow, that looks deep."
The second guy says,
"It sure does. Let's throw a few pebbles in there and see how deep it is. We'll be able to tell the depth by how long it is before we hear the noise of the pebbles landing."
So they pick up a few pebbles and throw them in and wait. Nothing. There's no noise. The first guy says,
"Wow, that's really deep. I know, let's throw one of these great big rocks down there. That should make a noise."
So they pick up a couple of football-sized rocks and toss them into the hole and wait. And wait. Again, nothing. They look at each other in amazement. Then the first guy gets a determined look on his face and says,
"Hey, over here in the weeds, there's a railroad tie. Help me carry it over. When we toss that sucker in, it's gotta make some noise."
So the two of them drag the heavy tie over to the hole and heave it in. Once again, not a sound comes from the hole. Suddenly, out of the nearby woods, a goat appears, running like the wind. It rushes toward the two men, then right past them, running as fast as its legs will carry it. Suddenly, it leaps in the air and into the hole. The two men are astonished with what they've just seen and look at each other in amazement. Then, out of the woods, comes a farmer who spots the men and ambles over. He asks them,
Hey, have you guys seen my goat out here?
The first guy says,
You bet we did! Craziest thing I ever saw! It came running like crazy and just jumped into this hole and disappeared.
Nah,
says the farmer.
that couldn't have been my goat. My goat was chained to a railroad tie.
A man in a bar notices a beautiful woman, always alone, that comes in on a regular basis. He wants to meet her, but he just can't seem to find the courage to approach her. After the second week, he decides to make his move. Despite his best game, the man can't achieve any progress with her.
No, thank you.
She would always say. The man is persistent, and finally, one night, they strike up a conversation. They have an instant connection, but things never get past the formalities. One night, he asks her if she would like to come back to his place.
No, thank you.
She says politely.
Why won't you come home with me?
He asks.
Well,
She replies.
this may sound rather odd in this day and age, but I'm keeping myself pure until I meet the man I love.
Wow, that must be rather difficult.
Says the man.
Oh, I don't really mind too much.
The woman replies.
But it has my husband pretty upset.
There once was a great actor who had a problem. He could no longer remember his lines. Finally, after many years, he finds a theater where they're prepared to give him the chance to shine again. The director says,
This is the most important part, and it has only one line. You must walk onto the stage carrying a rose. You must hold the rose between your finger and your thumb. Bring it to your nose, sniff the rose deeply, and then say the line, Ah, the sweet aroma of my mistress.
The actor is thrilled to get the part. All day long, he's practicing his line over and over again. Finally, the time came. As the curtain went up, the actor walked onto the stage, and with great passion, he delivered the line, Ah, the sweet aroma of my mistress. The audience screamed with laughter, and the director was steaming.
You bloody fool,
He cried.
you have ruined me.
The actor, quite bewildered, asked, What happened? Did I forget my line?
No,
The director screamed.
you forgot the rose.